right. Hello, True Heel Heat. I'm the AEW World Champion MJF. Just in case you're deaf, dumb, blind, stupid, or since you listen to this podcast poor, you're listening to True Heel Heat, and I apologize for that.
What's going on, everybody? This is your former AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Once a champion, always a champion. Swerve Strickland. Whose house? Swerve's house. You're watching True Heel Heat Podcast.
Hey guys, it's Thunder Rosa and welcome to True Heel Heat.
Hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3, and we are live on the True Hill Heat YouTube and Facebook for our AEW All Out 2025 preview, breaking down this Saturday's card from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. One of the biggest shows of the year for All Elite Wrestling, and we're here to break it all down with you all, and we got an all-star panel to do it. Of course, as always, here for our pay-per-view PLE previews here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, we got the one and only co-host from Coexisting with Rob and Maggie from Fightful Overbooked. It is Maggie. How are you feeling?
No, it still bugs me that you have Cody at number one in that intro.
It's not my fault. You got to talk to Romeo. You got to talk to Romeo. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to Romeo.
So you're just running away from responsibility right now. So.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Throwing him under the bus. That's how I do.
Typical.
We also got with us our main man who joins us for usually New Japan pay-per-view previews and reviews, but he's also been joining us for All Elite Wrestling pay-per-view previews and reviews this year. Is your main man, Jay News. How are you feeling?
No, call him by his real name, his JPEG.
Excuse me?
Okay, listen, I have a story. So,
I'm sure you do.
Because we haven't been on screen since I called you JPEG, and incidentally, but then because I was rewatching Two Broke Girls, and I was just at the beginning of the show, and Max's on again, off again boyfriend was called JPEG, and I accidentally referred to you as JPEG, and because I'm so smart, I was able to get out of it by telling everyone that I called you JPEG because you were as pretty as a picture.
Wow. That
was
right
a good
there.
save. Good save.
That's a good save.
Yeah, so you're JPEG now. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'll take it. at the end of the day, it is Max's off again, on again boyfriend at the end of the day. And we love Max over here in my house. So
Okay.
Max Black for life, man. She's so inspirational.
I don't know if you're going to be that introduction, but we got our fourth member of the panel here from the GRAPPL Podcast. You've seen him all over, and especially here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. He's a regular. He's part of the family. It is Benno. How are you doing, Benno?
Yeah, I was more of a two guys, a girl, and a pizza place kind of guy, but it's always good to be here among great company. Feels worldwide, this one. So, yeah, I think the references are going to be flying today. Can't wait.
Always good here. We appreciate all of you for joining us here on the show, and appreciate all of you for watching us live. If you're watching us on demand, we appreciate you as well. Show your appreciation back. The simplest way possible is by dropping a thumbs up on this video. You can also share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And of course, you could sound off in the comment section, leave your predictions for All Out there. And of course, if you're with us live, sound off in the live chat. We love to interact with all of you. Hear your thoughts on this Saturday's big show from Toronto, and any predictions, hot takes, or wild predictions that you got for the card. Let us know in the live chat. We'll highlight as many of your comments as possible. But of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here, you want to show your support to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, you could do so with a super chat donation. Let Maggie do the CEO dance plenty of times by showing your support. We'll highlight your comment on screen. Make sure we talk about it as well. And we always appreciate the support. We got Zach in the chat who lets us know that it's National Love Your Lunch Day. SP3, okay. Maggie, J News, and Benson.
I love my lunch.
I love my lunch. I don't usually eat lunch. I usually eat breakfast.
I don't eat
dinner. Yeah.
Yeah, lunch is breakfast for me. Same thing. Yeah. And that's like 2 p.m. something like that. Yeah. Don't know what that counts as. Brunch maybe. I love my brunch.
Yeah. I eat it at 11, so I know there's some people that eat lunch at 11, so I guess that counts. There you go.
Those are just psychos. They probably get up at 6 a.m. to run and then have breakfast at 7:30. Yeah. We don't talk about these people here.
We leave them alone here. Yeah. We got Hassan who says, let's roll up for AEW All Out Toronto. He said Toronto. Canada preview show.
I wonder what that said. Now I got it. I thought I missed the reference.
I was like, it took me a second. I was like, Toronto? Okay. Got it. Toronto. That's probably what he meant. We got Big Beats, who's very happy because, yes, we got Maggie twice this week. 2 big pay-per-views. And we got 2 big previews with Maggie here. So we're excited to talk about the show with her. We only got her for a limited amount of time. So we're going to get into things already. Why don't we? Because as usual with our pay-per-view previews, we usually go 0 to 10. What is our anticipation level, our hype level for AEW All Out 2025? Ladies first, Maggie, let us know where you're at.
Because, I feel guilty for saying 5 for a recipe. So for All Out, I'm going to say like a 7. Because If I say 9, people are gonna call me a biased cunt, and I don't want them to do that. So, like, if I have to be honest, it's like really, it's like a 7.5, but I'm gonna go with 7. It's on at a good time for me. It starts at 10 p.m. I am not, for the life of me, I'm not gonna watch it live because it's gonna be 18 million hours long. I am not staying up that late. Fuck that. So I'm going to watch it in the morning with my morning tea because I actually have a day off on Sunday.
Go ahead. I feel it. Benno, where you at? 0 to 10. What's your anticipation for All Out?
Yeah, I was just saying off air, I'm in Thailand at the minute, so it's going to be crazy late this show, 2 a.m. Like, I left the UK, leaving behind the 1 a.m. pay-per-views, and here I am still with the time change. It's one of those. But I am excited enough to stay up for it, so I don't know if that's a number. Like, I'd probably go 7. And I'm British and I'm miserable, so like that's high. That's really high.
That's
that means
high
I'm
for
really
yeah,
excited.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
so-
spent months in London, so I know that's high.
Yeah, and you spent a lot of time with me as well, so you know what I'm like. But they can call me a miserable cunt in the chat if they like. But I'm actually quite up for this one. I think it's missing a couple of. I feel like a big A-star versus A-star type match, like a couple of main eventers maybe in the mix in the same match is the one thing missing. But everything up and down this card, I'm pretty much excited for. So yeah, excited to talk it.
So you can call me miserable, you can call me a cunt, but you can't call me doing together.
But yeah, this is like a very, very high work rate type of show.
For the sickos,
not,
isn't it?
Yeah, it's not like the big stars on the show, and it's understandable with all the stars that are out right now, with Will Ospreay having surgery, Swerve Strickland's out with a knee injury. You got Kenny Omega, who recently went out. Jay News, where are you at for All Out tomorrow?
I'm the high man on this panel. I'm at a 9 right now because I've loved the build to All Out. I think that the majority of the episodes between Dynamite and Collision have been really, really good. The last episode of Collision is probably the best episode of Collision this year, let alone this 3-hour segment we got, or this 3-hour show we got, the Dynamite Collision combined and all that. Yeah, man, I'm high on this stuff because it is a high work rate pay-per-view, so it's my kind of show at the end of the day. So I'm high on it in that realm. I'm really excited to see as to what Kyle Fletcher and the Hanger have in store for us. This will not be their last match, so I wonder what their first match is going to look like in the grand scheme of things. And I'm pulling for the ladies in this as usual because they've been bound to kill it on pay-per-view, so I want to see them continue to kill it. And everybody's going to raise the bar. And that's my expectation going into it. And it's an early afternoon show, so I won't be having to be up late crazy. So at least for those of us on the East Coast and stuff. So I'm all for it, man. I'm at a 9 right now. So let's go with AEW.
Yeah, I'll find myself somewhere in the middle of everybody. I'll go with like an 8. I was at like a 7.5, 8 out of 10. I'll lean towards 8 because I think that the main event, the world title matchup, will really deliver. I feel like most of these matches, despite how I feel about the build, once the bell rings, I think these matches are all going to deliver. I think some of them were not the best build, some of them were the worst build, but the performers is not what that's on. That's on the booking. When the performers are given the job, they usually deliver. So I expect it to be a really good show.
I didn't expect to be the negative one on the panel.
Really? Well, there you go. Dion's helping you out. He said 6 out of 10. There you go.
Don't get me wrong, the show will absolutely slap tits. But like I'm just
if they didn't hype you to get into the show, I totally understand. I think they did a good job with the 3-hour show, other than the final hour being a code. It was very 2023 Rampage episode coded. The final hour of Dynamite this week. I was like, why don't you put your best stuff at the end? And if you are gonna have the world champion and the challenger in an angle at the end, you better knock that shit home to most wrestling fans, because most wrestling fans will turn it off when they see I love Hechicero and Josh Alexander, but the casual wrestling fan probably doesn't know them, and Top Flight, y'all have ridiculously undermine them. So them being in the main event, I know most people turn that off.
Yeah, you can feel that in that last hour. Like, that's the thing about the show. Like, I totally agree. I think pretty much all the matches are going to be good. Like, I'll go out there with a hot take. I don't think there's a match on the WWE show this weekend that's going to be better than anything on here. Like, maybe there's one, but like, there isn't two, at a push. It's definitely not going to be Brock versus Cena. I can absolutely tell you that. And that speaks to the quality of what's on this card. But I think I'm a bit more with you, SP3, in that, like, it's the investment for me that I'm missing a little bit. It's the investment in pretty much the undercard of the show. While I'm into Darby Mox, I'm into what Kyle Fletcher can do, but no one really believes Kyle Fletcher's going to win. So that's maybe an issue there, even if I know the match is going to be near 5-star level. So that's kind of where the mixed feelings come from for me.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but Stephanie Vaquer and Io Sky.
That's the one. That's the
That's
one.
the one. Yeah,
I was
yeah.
gonna
He
say-
saved himself. He
I
saved
see your
himself.
eyes
He said
going. I was like, no,
there's
that's the one. Just that one. Nothing else.
But I was gonna say we're still in the process with AEW where they're still trying to like regroup and build up stories after culminating a bunch of stuff at All In. We're still in like the rebuilding kind of process. So I'm glad the card is as good as it is, and I think that's why I'm kind of leaning towards like an 8 out of 10 because I know everything's gonna deliver. I can look over the fact that some of the storytelling haven't been the best over the last couple of weeks. So.
Also, 3 of their 4 big-time baby faces are benched right now,
Yes.
and they have a lot of work to do on that because they haven't done much. They have a babyface problem, and that's something that they need to work with.
Yeah. And for all of that, they do have a babyface problem, but I will say they're doing an excellent job with Hangman Adam Page as the top babyface and world champion. He's actually a rarity in pro wrestling. He's a smart babyface, and we'll talk about that when we get to that matchup. But let's talk about very quickly the pre-show. It is the tailgate brawl. We got a tornado tailgate brawl going up as the big matchup on this pre-show card that will air on TNT. So it's going to be the first time that AEW has aired their pre-show on live television. It's going to be Willow Nightingale, Mina Shirakawa, Harley Cameron, and Queen Aminata versus the Triangle of Madnesses, Julia Hart and Sky Blue, teaming up with Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. All 8 of these ladies have been embroiled in all of the fights and multi-woman matches going on in the women's division over the last couple of weeks. Aminata's had a fierce rivalry with Thekla and the Triangle of Madness, so that's why she's in the picture here. Willow Nightingale has gotten involved into the matters as of late. Mina Shirakawa found herself the victim of an attack from the Triangle of Madness, and Harley Cameron is still on the search for revenge over Megan Bayne breaking her nose. Who walks out with the victory ahead of All Out? Maggie.
I kind of don't know. I really want to say the face team because, first of all, Willow's there. And if you root against Willow, you're a douche. And also Queen Aminata. I've been really, really happy that they finally decided to put her on television because she was grossly unused and is so good. And I enjoy every second of Queen Aminata on my television. But I kind of feel like the heel team needs a win here because how do you take them seriously if they don't? Because I think Toni Storm's retaining and Thekla's there. I don't know. I kind of feel like they should win here. They haven't won much of anything. Or am I wrong?
I'll be honest. I don't keep track of the multi-woman match wins, but they pretty much are. It's pretty much 50-50 booking. It goes back and forth.
Yeah, but like they need to establish them as women that you need to fear.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with the heel team here. I don't know, but I'll be so glad if Willow wins. Just give that woman a title. Give her a title.
J News, who you got?
I am with Maggie on this one. I think the heel team ladies need a win here, just to start to solidify them as feared competitors in the women's roster. I have a feeling that we will have some shenanigans take place during this match. Not anything too bad. Willow did have a backstage promo basically calling out Marina Shafir again. So I think they're probably going to start to take that seriously. So, we won't just see Marina during the Death Riders match. We might see her here involved at some point. That's my prediction. Not necessarily knowing if it's going to happen or not. But I do see the heel women winning this one. And hopefully after the women's four-way match is over, maybe one of the heel ladies here becomes a new challenger for Toni Storm. So we'll see how that breaks down.
I was so bummed out to see Shayna Baszler in NXT. I was like, you were gone. So you were there. Go with your friend and take over that tag division. What the fuck? I know
be with the Death Riders.
Yeah, be with this is the one person I want to go join the Death Riders, and she's the only reason why I wanted the Death Riders to continue being a faction, because I'm like, they can't fall apart. Shayna Baszler's not there yet, and now she's I'm sorry, Benno.
Yeah, for me, I'll go with the face team just to be different, but I share in the love of like Queen Aminata. Like for me, she's somebody who, like, there was a period where she was on TV, it felt like, for 3 months in a row, but she was only on TV losing to whoever else was in an actual program. Like, she'd be on Collision every week doing the job, and it was just unbelievable, like, lack of use of talent. So I'm glad to see her more on TV, but I'd like to see her in more programs like the Thekla program. So yeah, I'll go with her getting the win on the babyface side, or potentially Willow. But I think the unfortunate state of events is we're probably putting more thought into it than they are. Like you said, SP3, they're probably going to flip a coin, aren't they, and just go, whatever, we've got something else planned for Toni.
Yeah, that's why I don't like the use. Like, I'm on the fence on it, but I'm leaning more towards I don't like all the all-star woman tag, because I see no type of creativity and no type of
no one breaks out
put into. Yeah, no one breaks out. Everybody's kept at the same level. There's no one like dominating and really standing out from this kind of booking format. So I hope that it changes, or I hope that it at least culminates with like a blood and guts. At least do that. At least all that is at least building up to that. You could say at the end of the day, oh, we had to get through 47 of these matches to get to the woman's blood and guts. Then I'll be like, okay, fair enough. I'll put my hands up. But for now, it just seems very lazy. But I'm going to go with the baby faces. The heels won in the multi-woman matchup at Forbidden Door on the pre-show. So I think the baby faces win this one. And hopefully we get some type of announcement for a woman's blood and guts in the near future.
You just said that you don't keep track of the multi-woman match wins and losses.
I keep track of pay-per-views because I review pay-per-views.
A technical. Oh, you men.
Next up on the pre-show, one that we don't have to put a lot of thought into because they didn't, so why should we? The Ops of Samoa Joe and Powerhouse Hobbs will team to verse the Workhorsemen, JD Drake and Anthony Henry. That is the description of this matchup because there is no build to talk about. Benno.
Yeah, I was glad to see the graphic. I was like, oh, cool, the Workhorsemen. Oh, cool, Anthony Henry's back. That's great. But they're going to lose, aren't they? So probably not such a great start. So yeah, this will be background viewing on it while we're all getting snacks and whatever. And the Ops go over. That's all there is to say, isn't it?
J-News?
Yeah, I think this will be another one of those JD Drake showcase matches because the dude's awesome. Moving around at his weight and his height. Glad to see Anthony Henry back in the ring. I thought the dude was about to retire with the way his injury rehab was going. But gladly he came back from it all and all that jazz. So but here the Ops are definitely going to whoop somebody's ass and take names and keep walking. So yeah, the Ops win here. There's not much of anything else to say.
Maggie?
Hobbs and JD Drake are gonna slap some meat. And of course, the Ops are gonna win, obviously.
We're gonna get a lot of meat chants for sure. Yeah, the Ops definitely win this one. I hope it is a JD Drake showcase. I hope it's an Anthony Henry showcase. I'm glad to see them back together and healthy. So that's the good part.
Played in Germany at a WXW tour. We had the fans versus the wrestlers bowling tournament. I was in the same lane as JD Drake. With a shock, you to know he's fucking fantastic at bowling. He just looks like it, doesn't he? He looks like he'd be a 5-star bowler.
Yeah,
he's as good at that as he is wrestling. Cracking bloke. I always want to see him do well.
That's awesome. And then finally, the one competitive matchup that we'll probably have on the pre-show outside of the women's multi-woman matchup. It's going to be Katsuyori Shibata going one-on-one with the newest member of the Death Riders, Daniel Garcia. This is the third meeting between the two. They are 1-1 in their previous meetings in Ring of Honor and on AEW Collision earlier this year. And can Shibata get a win for the Ops, as the Ops versus Death Riders war has continued, and now the Death Riders have added Daniel Garcia into this whole formula, and it seems like the Garcia is going to join up with Claudio and Yuta to challenge for the Trios Championships again. So this could be a key victory for them there. J News, who you got?
I think for folks who probably haven't watched the previous two matches between Daniel Garcia and Shibata, this probably is going to end up, even though it's a 0-hour match or whatever the case is, it's going to be a hard-hitting affair now that we're leaning towards Daniel Garcia being part of the Death Riders and things of that nature. So I see a heightened level of violence happening in this match, and that's all good for me because a heightened level of violence with Shibata in it is prime time wrestling television at the end of the day. So I think folks should watch out for this match. As for the winner, it's got to be Danny, right? Because there's no purpose in putting Danny in the Death Riders if he's going to lose his first match out. So Danny's got to win here, but you know he's gonna get hurt during the match, but he'll squeak this one out. He'll probably choke Shibata out, but he won't tap because Shibata doesn't tap. So outside of that, that's the way I see it.
Maggie.
This is gonna be such a slapper. I mean, if there's no shenanigans, of course, because every time one of the Death Rider members is involved, we get some sort of fuckery. I hope we don't get that here. I just want them to wrestle. Garcia, definitely, because of all the things that J-News said. He just turned heel. He just joined the Death Riders. Dude needs a win here.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna go with Garcia as well. I think they did a good job of telling the story of Jon Moxley recruiting Daniel Garcia into the Death Riders, where it feels like Danny has another opportunity to kind of get over that hump, which I feel like he's had a little too many opportunities because
now or never.
It's now or never. This feels like the third big chance that he had. He had a chance when he was with Jericho Appreciation Society and had the whole angle with the Blackpool Combat Club, but they decided to keep him in JAS. Then he had another chance with the TNT title. Now he's got another chance. This is third try. I think this may be it after this. So gotta give him the win here.
I feel the same way. Like, for me, I'm cheerleading them, though, at the same time. I want Danny to do well. I want him to push on. I don't want this to be the Jericho story done again. I want this to be something different. I was a little bit worried, to be honest, last week's Collision, just the clothes he was wearing and the way he was acting around Moxley. That's not what I want. I want him... This Shibata match, I want him to be full Red Death Daniel Garcia, like use all the positive traits of being in the Death Riders, get some of that edge back and be that rather than being, Wheeler Yuta 2.0. Hopefully we get that version of Garcia here, but I'm confident. You get those two guys in the ring, what else are they going to do than kick the shit out of each other? Let's hope we get that, and it's a real hot start for Garcia in this role properly this time.
Yeah. No one wants a Jericho story.
No. Please, dear God, no. But we are getting a legendary stars story or two on this show, as Tony Khan has announced that the opener for AEW All Out will be the match that many people felt should be the main event, especially after their stellar Go Home segment on September to Remember. It's going to be Adam Copeland reuniting with Christian Cage in their hometown of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, as they will face Dax Harwood, Cash Wheeler, FTR, with Stokely Hathaway in their corner. FTR and Copeland were the best of friends when Copeland came to All Elite Wrestling back in 2023. They teamed up with one another earlier this year, becoming rated FTR, but Dax Harwood was the first who kind of felt like Copeland was stealing some of their spotlight, stealing some of their shine. They should be focused on the tag team titles instead of the trios championships. But after losing their trios title match at Dynasty, it was Dax Harwood who delivered a power driver, and Cash Wheeler, a man that felt that Copeland was a mentor, a man that gave him his first big break in pro wrestling. He turned on him right along with Dax, laying out Copeland, taking him out with 2 concertos and sidelining him for months. During all of this, Christian Cage was going through his own drama with the patriarchy being a tyrannical father figure for both Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne, and he would eventually have his falling out with the patriarchy at All In when Nick Wayne turned on him at the behest of FTR, which led to Adam Copeland making his return for the first time since the attack by his former friends. He was going after FTR, but by doing so, he actually made the save for his former best friend Christian Cage, who he embraced when he first came to AEW, wanted to reunite their tag team, and Christian told him to go fuck himself, which led to 6 months of them going to war with one another and some spiked balls along the way and TNT titles traded. They have now come to it where Copeland told Christian, go find yourself. And what Christian found is that he needed to change nothing at all. He's perfect just the way he is. So he came back, made the save for Copeland. They had a very rushed reunion, but I think they've taken the steps since then to make this right, where Christian has just been him. He's just him still. He's still the father of the year, still the asshole, but Adam Copeland is the one who says that he's his asshole. As weird as that sounds. They've brawled with FTR. They made the challenge for All Out in Toronto in their hometown. This led to a stellar go home segment on September to Remember, where FTR told the story of them and Copeland taking Cash Wheeler under his wing, giving him his first big break, creating the revival in WWE and all the classic matches they got, the legacy they built, and they are trying to prove themselves as the greatest tag team of all time by taking out one of the other ones in their reunion in their hometown. Story's been really well done by everybody involved. You could tell how badly everybody involved wants this to work, and they've gotten it to work. Despite all the nitpicks and complaints I've had along the way, they stuck the landing. Benno, what do you think about this one? CNC versus FTR. What have you thought about the build? Who wins on Saturday?
Let's
Thanks,
never call him CNC.
Yes, I hate that too. Yeah, this is not for me. I'm reading the chat there. It sounds like I've got some brothers in arms there. I just can't stand Cope. I just can't. There's nothing he can do to turn me around at this point. This is going to be the world's biggest sing-along with 12,000 people singing Cunnel English or whatever it's called. And I'm just going to have to sit there and grin and go, everyone else likes it and I don't. Don't take that another way. But anyway, yeah, I'm just not looking forward to it at all. It's gonna, you know what it's gonna be? Half the match I'm gonna like because FTR are gonna work at an 80s, 90s, WWF style tag match, and then there's gonna be 10 minutes of cope melodrama that I'm gonna fucking hate. And I know I'm gonna be in the minority. I actually think it's the perfect choice to open for all the reasons that everyone else loves it, and I hate it. So it's good booking, it's good matchmaking. I think I do agree, the last couple of weeks, they have stuck to landing as far as filling in the story beats and making the Christian stuff make sense, but very much not for me on a card full of stuff that is for me, this one. But on the prediction-wise, I think I was going to go FTR, but I think it being the opener now does make me think Cope and Christian, because it'd be a weird way to open with a heel win. But I think there'll be more matches. I think the tag belts will be involved, so there'll be shenanigans either way.
Maggie.
Okay, I understand why this match isn't for a lot of people. I don't care as much as I want to. This match is absolutely for people who adore tag team wrestling. This is for tag team wrestling fans. Shout out to our friend Jackie. Her first love tag team wise were Cope and Christian, and now she's an absolute sucker for FTR. This match is about her. She's traveling to Canada to see this match. This match is gonna tear her apart. Of course, she's rooting for FTR. So am I. I actually think that because I do count the pre-show as a part of the show, and I didn't want this match to be main eventing because I think FTR are winning. And I don't care if you open up the show with your favorites losing. Fuck them. I don't care. So, I feel like FTR should absolutely go through Cope and Cage. I love Christian Cage. He was like, I'm rich. I don't care about the fines. And he just slapped the bitch.
Busted Dax open.
Yeah, busted Dax open. It was amazing. I loved it. I mean, Cope kind of looks like the goody two shoes in AEW, and when like the most insufferable time in the Death Riders era was when he was fighting for the championship.
Yes, it was.
Coincidence? I don't think it's a coincidence at all.
I think people still hold the grudge to that.
Yeah, I do.
I think people hated him before that, but this is where it's stuck.
Yeah,
I know, and like. I loved when he was involved with FTR, with them going through the trios championships. I kind of feel like FTR are right here. I mean, like, Cope, you're a dope, okay? Cope the dope. So, like, let's go and lose the match because FTR are the better tag team.
J News, Cope and Christian, FTR.
As for the build part of it all, like you were saying, SP3, I think they stuck the landing at the end of the day, right? They were able to, I think all right, let me rephrase here. At the start of this all, we felt like it was rushed. Then the people with better judgment said, okay, let's not be on TV every week. Let this shit breathe and pace this out, right? So shouts to the veterans for making that decision. And secondarily, I don't have as much ill will towards Adam Copeland / Edge as a lot of people do at the end of the day. Am I his biggest fan? No. Was I around for the majority of his rise and peak to power in the WWE? I was not. I was not watching wrestling at that point in time. Unfortunately. But for all intents and purposes, he is a legend of the industry. I know that he had a great tag team with his best friend, Christian, and they were a great tag team when they were in their prime. Now, they're both in their 50s. Are they in their prime anymore? No. But this is FTR we're talking about. And FTR is, to me, the greatest tag team of the last 2 decades. So if anything, these 4 men will put on a banger of a match to begin the show. I don't doubt that at all. But I do see Cope and Cage, CNC, whatever you want to call them, winning the match at the end of the day. Yes, I do see that. Reason being is that I feel if they're really about, especially Cope here, if they're really about sounding the bell for AEW, they'll work with every single tag team in that company outside of FTR. And if they're going to find their way to the tag team belts eventually, they've got to go through every tag team. And if FTR is going to be the first one, I'm fine with it. But they've got to get their legs under them because they haven't tagged in quite a while. And I'm sure, it's like riding a bike at the end of the day, right? For them. But I still think there's plenty of gas left in the tank for those two. And them getting the win here is only going to be the start of their momentum towards, I would imagine, a tag team title run sometime down the road, not anything immediate, because we have a lot going on with the tag team titles right now. But we'll see them build and have other feuds with other tag teams on the show, which I think will help the younger teams on the show. So them starting here, I think, is a good way to go about it.
Yeah, definitely got Cope and Christian picking up the victory here. I think that this will be the first match of many between these two teams. I do agree with a bunch of y'all. We said like they'll have future matches over the AEW World Tag Team titles. I just got to mention, man, FTR is on an all-timer run. And I don't think there's ever been a tag team who's had this short of duration, but 4 different peaks in like this short of duration. Like they had a peak during the NXT days. They're still considered one of the greatest NXT tag teams of all time. And that DIY rivalry is still brought up to this day, now a decade later. Then they had their whole peak in the AEW run when they first turned babyface. in 2022, and then had that epic rivalry with the Briscoes, the trilogy of matches. They had a third peak in 2023 when they became AEW World Tag Team Champions again, and had those classic matches with Bullet Club Gold. Like, they could do no wrong. Every single match they had was either good or great or all-timer every single time out. And now they have their fourth run here. Ever since they've turned heel, they just had stellar matches. And I still will say, you can't tell me nothing about FTR after having a great matchup with the Outrunners. I'm sorry. That is that will be like right next to 10-time tag team champions and all their classic matches. Before they mention DIY, Young Bucks, Briscoes, they got to mention we had a great match with the Outrunners. Now tell me what other great tag teams in this line gonna say that.
The only tag team that can get a good match out of the Outrunners is FTR. Fuck the Outrunners, man. That was such a huge mistake. I don't know what people are enjoying about it. Get up, touch some grass. The Outrunners suck, man. I am looking forward to everything that they're gonna do with Dalton Castle, though, because everything Dalton Castle is involved with is absolute gold. Also, they had another peak. FTR had another peak, but it was during the time when they were on the main roster in WWE, and it had nothing to do with them. It had everything to do with being the Elite and fuck the Revival. That's their other.
Well, yeah, it was nothing they were doing, but they did have a lot more attention there. And I also got to mention, Big Stokes has been a key addition to their act. They've always wanted to be this generation's Midnight Express. And then they finally found their short, black, no-hose Jim Cornette. They finally found him. That's Stokely Hathaway.
Can I just say one more thing? You guys gave a lot of shit to the Outrunners, and I'm not gonna join.
I didn't give any shit to the Outrunners. It's a damn great match.
I'm giving all the shit.
There's a lot of Outrunners hate in the chat. There's a lot of Outrunners hate here. I will not join the party, but I will say this: if they got a great match out of the Outrunners, FTR also mentioned that they had a great match with Enzo and Cass. If we want to remember, all the way back
they did.
So, and you can't teach that. So at the end of the day, it's all FTR is just one of the greatest tag teams of all time. Just to mention, at the end of the day, I think Dustin Rhodes got on Twitter yesterday and he put his list of his the top tag teams of all time on there, and he put FTR at the top, bro, which is surprising to me. At the end of the day, with how long he's been in the industry and what he's been around, his lifetime and things of that nature or whatever. So it was interesting to see that. And man, no Outrunner hate here. No Outrunner hate here. That's what I got to say.
No Outrunner slander.
So I just leave then.
Well, it's not just Cope and Christian returning home to Toronto. We got another return to look forward to tomorrow afternoon as Eddie Kingston comes home to AEW. He is back after over a year's absence as he will go one-on-one with Big Bill. Big Bill called out the other loudmouth New Yorker who thinks he's a tough guy, as Eddie Kingston has been quiet since suffering his debilitating torn ACL and torn meniscus injury at Resurgence last year for New Japan against Gabe Kidd. And now he is back this Saturday, All Out. Man, I'm just going to be happy. I'm just going to be happy whenever his music hits. Whenever his music hits and hearing that pop from Toronto. Not much to say here. Eddie Kingston is, of course, going to get the victory, but I'm just looking forward to having Eddie back and seeing where he fits in the current landscape of AEW, because it's a lot different from the last time he was here. Maggie, who you got? Eddie versus Big Bill.
Yeah, so a couple of things. That place is going to erupt. The moment Eddie Kingston's music plays, it's going to erupt. I'm so glad to have Eddie Kingston back. Someone please check up on Kate during this match. I'm really on such high because first of all, Wardlow came back and now he's not back because he's injured again. And then AJ Lee came back and I've been crying for like a month now. And now Eddie Kingston comes back and like, can someone stop? It's like, I don't think that this is gonna be a wrestling heavy match. Eddie Kingston's just gonna kill Big Bill.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be some suplexes, spinning back fists. 1, 2, 3. Call it a day. Benno, who you got?
Yeah, that's what it should be, one and done. Like, Eddie fucking Kingston is back. Like, I'm so excited about that. I've gone through the whole gambit of emotions with it though, because I do feel like the analogy I've been making on Grapple is like, it feels like Shawn Michaels in 1998. You know, every time there was like a tournament with a mystery man, or there was like a team that needed a partner, all the crowd would chant for HBK. We've been doing that for Eddie for like 6 months. And this is how he comes back. Like, it really took me by surprise. Like, I've just about gotten over it because I think Big Bill's done really good work promo-wise. That's felt a bit like Steve Austin trying to get Bret Hart out of retirement in '96 for another throwback. Like, I've enjoyed Big Bill's work. I'm going to enjoy the match. I think I've just got one caveat that Eddie Kingston then gets slotted higher somewhere. I want Big Bill to be somewhere higher on the card too, but I want to see Eddie Kingston, Big Bill have 10 minutes slapping the shit out of each other. Eddie Kingston goes over strong, and then he bumps into Moxley, or he bumps into Claudio, or something like that, and we're off to the races with a high-level program for Eddie Kingston. Because that's what we've all been wanting for, isn't it, for months and months? But it's Eddie Kingston back, so I'm happy. It's just, I want to see what they do with it creative-wise.
J News.
I love this comparison. Eddie is the Jacob Fatu of AEW. I like this comparison.
Or Jacob Fatu is the Eddie Kingston of WWE. I think that's more inept. J News.
If I have anything negative to say, it's this. The build to this has been shit. And the reason as to why I say the build to this has been shit is because I haven't had Eddie Kingston on my TV as of yet. That's why the build's been shit. Okay? No disrespect to Big Bill at the end of the day. Big Bill's doing good things. I agree with Benno. Bill's promo work's been fantastic. I feel like Big Bill and Juice Robinson were slighted on fucking Collision, by the way, and that's due to the booking. So that's that at the end of the day. And now with Eddie, no promo, no video package, no appearance. We gotta wait all the way to All Out. When do I get to hear the man speak? This is what I'm here for.
On the Dynamite after.
Forget that. What are you talking about? That Dynamite after. That Dynamite after. No, absolutely not. Anyways, I was saying this to a friend of mine last night because we were talking about this whole Eddie Kingston versus Big Bill thing. I don't like the matchup between the two of them because their styles just don't mix well at the end of the day. But like Benno said, if they're just out there beating the shit out of each other, I'm all for it. But Eddie Kingston for the win here. I just wish we would have had like Eddie cut a promo or something or whatever the case is. That's just my whole thing about it.
I just wanted that moment, that surprise moment where like the Death Riders standing tall, packed arena, and then Eddie's music hits them when none of us are expecting it. Imagine how great that moment would have been. I can't believe they didn't give that to us. Maybe it's Toni managing Eddie. Maybe it's a personality thing. Maybe Eddie doesn't want to. He wants to come back in a lower pressure situation. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, that followed by some promos, that would have been the route I'd go to.
Yeah, that's gotta be it. And I agree with the J News. I just wish they would have. I don't think the build has been shit. I just think there hasn't been much of a build. There's another build that I'll say was shit, but this wasn't. I just think that it's very low effort because they didn't want to do too much, but I needed them to do too much because I needed them to make this a bigger deal. I felt like they could have made this a bigger deal, and it makes me feel like they don't see Eddie Kingston as the star that
worries me.
Most of the fan base sees him as.
Yeah, is that us? Do we see him like in a higher level than Tony Khan does, or he sees himself, or AW sees him? I hope that's not the case. That's why, like, for me, the caveat is let's hope on the night it sets something that's more, worthy of Eddie Kingston, the level of the card that we all know he should be, and hopefully the company knows.
Yeah, hopefully. All right, next we got for a trios matchup. Trios action is going to be the Hurt Syndicate. Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and MVP teaming up to verse Ricochet and the Gates of Agony, Bishop Khan, Toa Leona. This trios matchup was really set up at Forbidden Door when Ricochet and the GOA interfered in the three-way for the AEW World Tag Team titles, attacking the Hurt Syndicate, costing them the championships. Since then, we've seen a series of brawls between these two teams. 2 weeks ago, we had Ricochet pull up an upset over Shelton Shelton Benjamin due to help from GOA, which led to a fierce brawl that broke out, especially between Bobby Lashley and Toa Liona. And then on Dynamite, September to Remember this week, you had Lashley versus Leona, who had a straight up banger with Lashley picking up the victory and the Hurt Syndicate looking dominant in the post match here. I would usually go for the Hurt Syndicate because the Hurt Syndicate usually doesn't want to lose, but considering the fact we've seen the report of MVP saying that he would be willing, or the Hurt Syndicate would be willing to lose to a younger team like GOA, seeing what MVP told Cam Hawkins on Yahoo Uncrowned about the GOA, seeing that the GOA just re-signed, seeing as this group is so new, I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to have the Hurt Syndicate lose, have MVP take the loss from Ricochet, and give something to Ricochet in GOA, especially after they look like absolute dweebs on Dynamite this week. You better do something to give them some type of heat coming out of this. And you can prolong this a little bit longer because it felt like to me the last 2 weeks they finally found something that got me interested in this matchup, because I wasn't really interested in it coming out of Forbidden Door in the first couple of weeks, but actually seeing these guys interact in a match, in a ring. I thought Shelton and Ricochet was really good. I thought Leona and Lashley was so much better than I expected.
Yes.
I expected it to be better than I expected as well. So, Maggie, who you got?
I'm actually really looking forward to this match, guys. I mean, this week on Dynamite, Leona versus Bobby Lashley. Woo! I mean, a Samoan drop on the apron.
Yes.
Why is no one doing that? Now look, and it's Bobby Lashley, guys. He's a big dude. He's 50. Like, what are those muscles that are holding your spine, sir? It's like, I'm really, really looking forward to this match. I'm gonna pick Ricochet and GOA because, again, with the point that I made about the All-Star Women's match on the pre-show, what do you do with them after when they lose? Because they kind of look like dorks. Yeah, exactly. But I don't think that Hurt Syndicate are gonna suffer from a loss here. And I'm sure that it's not going to be a last match that we see between them. Probably a tag match. But, a 2-on-2, not 3-on-3. But I'm also excited to see MVP back in the ring.
Yeah, I'm interested to see that. I'm interested to see Ricochet and GOA together for once, because I don't think they've done too many trios matches since they've been paired up with one another.
I actually think MVP gets pinned here in the match.
Yeah. And with that, I think MVP is literally there to take the pin here. And with you, though, SB3, like the match on Dynamite really surprised me. I really enjoyed it. I want to see more interactions between Toa Liona and Lashley there. I'd like to see Lashley do more single stuff, to be honest, coming off this. But clearly, it's a weird match, isn't it? Because it's heel team versus heel team. I know the Hurt Syndicate to get cheered, and it doesn't really matter whether they're babyface or heel. So I think it'll work on the night, but it feels quite low stakes, the entire thing. So unless there's something I'm missing, like there's a new Hurt Syndicate member turning up or something like that, I think it's just a straight up MVP takes the loss. They make a point of it, and both teams go on to do other stuff.
J News.
Yeah, I think GOA gets the win here. Shout outs to the veterans in this whole thing for wanting to put the younger talent over, right? So I'll give them credit where credit is due there. I agree with the match that was on Dynamite. That's probably the best I've seen Bobby Lashley since his TNA run, which was his best run in professional wrestling, for those of you who don't know at the end of the day. So there's that. Singles Bobby Lashley is going to be something to be reckoned with in AEW. Even at 50, Bobby's still going at a gear that most guys in their 20s can't. So and Toa Liona, man, dude showed me something, dude, because usually – and this is from my own perspective. I'm speaking for myself. Like, I've always considered him to be very sloppy in the ring, not necessarily someone who's fit to even have one of those slobber knocker type matches and stuff like that. But he's really improved in the last couple of months. So I got to give him credit there. Obviously, he's improving his physical and the aesthetic look of himself and things of that nature, and he's also improving in the ring. So there's that of it. So I want to see as to where he can go. Maybe in a singles push, maybe somewhere down the line. But I think there's still a lot to do with GOA as a tag team on AEW. And with Ricochet involved, man, like, look, the dude's been spotlighted since the day he arrived at AEW. So, this is all he's ever wanted, really. Forget the championships. Like, this is all he's ever wanted, and I think he's really excelled at it all. I think that this is a way for them to, them as an AEW, this is a way for them to put some sort of importance behind the trios championships, because now you have the Hurt Syndicate MVPs working, right? And I agree. MVP takes the pin here. GOA wins. Maybe GOA and Ricochet go after the trios championships. Obviously, the Hurt Syndicate is still there. You still have the ops and stuff like that. For folks who watched Dynamite in recent weeks, it seems like Hook is going to have his own little team around him going forward. So we might have a new trios faction there, and then obviously the conglomeration whenever they come back together and whatever they put together there. So I think they're building towards that in some way or fashion. But if they do decide to go the singles route with the Hurt Syndicate guys specifically, I only see big things for Big Bob at the end of the day. So there's that, and I feel like we didn't. I know we got Shelton Benjamin versus Okada, but I feel we can get a better version of that match if they ever do single stuff for the unified title. So no, SP3 says no. Oh wow, that's interesting.
They won't put that on pay-per-view, so you're not going to get that Okada. That's the key. We'll get to Okada in a bit here, but that's the key with Okada. And unless it's on pay-per-view, you're not going to get that Okada. Then we got for the did I get everybody's prediction, or did I?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. For the TBS Championship, Mercedes Mone will defend against Riho. Mercedes coming off the heels of her victory back at Forbidden Door, successfully defending the AEW TBS Championship in a four-way against Bozilla, Persephone, and Alex Windsor. She then defeated Windsor on an episode of Dynamite where Riho made her return after over a year away from All Elite Wrestling, issuing a challenge for the TBS Championship that was made official for All Out. Riho and her tag team partner Alex Windsor picked up a win over her trainer Emi Sakura and Mercedes Mone 2 weeks on Dynamite, while Riho picked up a win against Robin Renegade on Dynamite this week, but Robin Renegade grabbed her leg, allowing Mercedes to get the last laugh and deliver a backstabber to Riho. Not much of a story in this one either here. I think that most people were just expecting this to be a good match. I'm kind of worried about that after Riho showing in that tag team matchup 2 weeks ago. And just knowing the fact that both Riho and Mercedes do much better against opponents that's not them. Like Riho does really better against performers who are bigger than her that can kind of toss her around where she could sell for. Similar to Mercedes, she is really good against performers who have more power, who she could do the ragdoll sell for and then make it look good when she hits her offense on. Them facing two type of performers that are very similar and smaller of stature makes me kind of worried. I'm hoping for the best, but there's no doubt Mercedes gets the win here. Maggie?
Worried is the exact same word that I was planning on using. I'm worried about this match, and I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt because Riho versus Sasha Banks was actually a dream match for me. But then everything happened, and Riho came back, and I saw the fucking ring rust there, man. What the hell? And I was like, am I watching the same Riho? Or is it, I don't know, did I subconsciously in my mind praise her too much? I don't know. I don't know what it is. But like, I remember that Riho was fighting oh damn it. 2021 Double or Nothing pre-show. Or 2020.
2021, it was Serena Deeb.
Serena Deeb, yes. This was one of my favorite women's matches in AEW. That match slapped, and I don't know, I really don't know what happened. I don't know if she was wrestling through all the time that she wasn't on AEW television. I know she had visa issues or something like that. I don't know. Hopefully they worked with each other, in the time of the build towards this match, because this match will give me anxiety, I'm sure. But I'm gonna pick Mercedes here, of course. It's so obvious. And yeah, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed on this one. J News.
Yeah, same. I thought I was the only one who was worried about this, and I also thought I was the only one who caught the tail end of the last 5 to 7 minutes of that tag match, where Riho was all over the place. At the end of the day, I don't like, for shits and giggles. Obviously, for what we do here, like, you can say what you want to say and just be entertaining about it. But like, seriously, looking at the match, and I was like, she looked a little lost, and I was like, that's dangerous when it comes to wrestling, when you look lost out there. You know what I'm saying? So it's I hope that they have time to rehearse the match, one, to get their spots down from an understanding standpoint, and make it look good. I'm with you, SP3. I'm not too sure that a match between Mercedes and Riho is gonna go over well with the fans, because they do best with other types of competitors. At the end of the day, I don't know how it's gonna look between each other per se, right? So we'll see. At the end of the day, how it all goes. I'm hoping for the best here, and this was another one of the other matches on the card that didn't have a great build for me either.
No.
But I was hoping I'm just hoping for a banger match at the end of the day, and we'll go from there. But we'll see as to how it all breaks down, and hopefully the ladies kill it, man, because they're prone to doing so on pay-per-view. So that's just the hope.
Yeah. King of the North says she looked good in the singles match on Dynamite this week. Seemed like an outlier in the tag match. To be fair, the singles match on Dynamite was less than 5 minutes. Taka Michinoku looked like a main eventer against Triple H in 2002. Benno, what do you think? What do you think about the build to this matchup, and who wins, Mercedes versus Riho?
Yeah, I do think it's a shame on a show where, again, there isn't a clear main event, hence the debate about what was going to go on last, that we don't have that in the women's division with either of these matches. They both seem pretty low prestige. But I think the positive is it just feels like a match that Mercedes wanted. It feels like a match that maybe she's even requested. And I think with that in mind and how good she's been this year, I'm not going to doubt them to go out there and still somehow kill it. Even if it's like limited time, even if it's practice within an inch of its life, I think, yeah, like one of the comments said before, I think it'd be a fool's errand to doubt Mercedes this year. So I hope that remains true for this match. I agree with all you guys that it's the most at risk, but I think she's just going to be so motivated for this one, and that's the reason this match is even taking place in the first place. So yeah, I mean, obviously she's going over, but I think they will have a better match than we're worrying.
Yeah, I just think that this match, more than a lot of like Mercedes matches, is dependent on it being a good to great matchup, because there's absolutely no doubt whatsoever in the result. Yeah, so the only thing we can be hopeful is that it's at least good, and that Riho has worked off the ring rust. Now, let's talk about the triple threat match for the AEW True Unified Championship. All three men qualified, with Kazuchika Okada successfully defending the unified title against Michael Oku on Collision last week, while Kanosuke Takeshita defeated Anthony Bowens to qualify for this matchup, and Mascara Dorada defeated the Beast Mortals in an awesome match on Dynamite to qualify here. It's a three-way, but it's mostly about Takeshita and Okada. Both men in the Don Callis family. Both men feel like they are the leader, the ace of the Don Callis family, while Okada is the unified champion. Takeshita just won the G1. When is this going to come to a head? That is a question for after the matchup. But what have you thought about the build to this one, and who wins the three-way walking out unified champion? Jay Noose.
The build to this, I've liked the interactions between Okada and Big Soups with Takeshita. Like, that's been great so far. That's going to come to a boiling point. We'll get the one-on-one we've all been seeking, and that title will be on the line. And I have a feeling that Takeshi's going to win the C2 anyway. So that's going to be what that is. So he can claim that he's the best tournament wrestler in AEW at the end of the day. So that's that. The Máscara Dorada part is the part that excites me the most. That guy is the guy. If you want just high spot after high spot, crazy shit after crazy shit, that's the guy. And he's going to put that together in this triple threat match at the end of the day. Okada wins, folks. Okada wins. Dorada takes the pin here. Okada wins, all right? But we're still going to see more animosity between Takeshita and Okada. We'll get that singles match, that big blow-off match somewhere down the line. But I think this is probably going to be the banger match of the night. This might be match of the night, to be quite honest. And
especially how Okada's been working on pay-per-view. Like I said to you when you talked about Shelton, if it's Okada on pay-per-view, then there's a chance. It seems like Okada has flipped the switch and he knows if it's pay-per-view time, I gotta be big match Okada, and he's done it every time this year.
Yeah, man. And for all intents and purposes, like the build for the whole thing, like when they came out with the tournament, I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, why are we doing a small tournament to get into this match?
Bizarre.
Like, who thought of this last minute?
He just loves tournaments. He just loves tournaments. Like, it's ridiculous.
What's going on, man? But hey, at the end of the day, we got to where we got to. It was a fact. Like the matches, the qualifying matches were great. Like Mortos versus Máscara Dorada was crazy on Dynamite, and Takeshita had his match. That was cool. Michael Oku, bless you, Bert. Bless you, brother, for taking those death dives that you do, those death bumps that you do. Bless you, brother. But goddamn, stop doing it. You gonna die one of these days. Go die. But, yeah, man. I think this is gonna be the match. I think this is gonna be the match of the night. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I also think Okada wins. I think it sets up Okada versus Takeshita Wrestle Dream, because Wrestle Dream is the same week as King of Pro Wrestling. So you have Takeshita walk in IWGP World Heavyweight Champion against Unified Champion Okada. I think that would be the big money matchup to do at Wrestle Dream. Maggie, what have you thought about this one? Who wins on Saturday?
I agree with J News. I share the Dorada love, but let's face it, he's here to take the pin. That's pretty much. And I do feel like it's Okada. This is the way to save Takeshita from taking the pin. We immediately know, because it's soon for Okada, but for Takeshita. But I am already getting the itch for Okada versus Takeshita 1-on-1, and this is eventually the time where Takeshita is gonna beat him. I feel like the crowd. I feel like I mentioned this before. The crowd is fucking ready to cheer for a babyface Takeshita.
Yeah.
Now that a lot of the baby faces are gone, let's make Takeshita a babyface. People love him. People cheer him anyway. So
and having him turn, have him be the first one who turns on Don Callis. What we've seen throughout the history of Don Callis in AEW is he turns on the guys that he's basically had enough of or wanted to turn on him. So have Takeshita be the one who has the agency to turn on Callis before Callis turns on him and he turns babyface. I've been asking for this for a few months now because I saw Ospreay and Swerve leaving. Takeshita's right there. That's the guy to make the new babyface.
Yeah, he's the guy massively. And I think for me, I think they worked backwards here in that they wanted to do the singles Takeshita Okada match, but obviously everything going on with Takeshita in Japan, as you've mentioned there, means you can't do that, or you can't have Takeshita take the loss to Okada right now. So we've got this, and I think that's exactly why we had the bizarre tournament where there was the chance of Michael Oku beating Okada to be in this match. It was clearly booked for that reason, so that it could be a three-way. But yeah, I think this is a bit of a holding pattern. We'll get to the point of the Takeshita Okada singles match. Hey, maybe it could even happen in Japan. It doesn't feel like it with Okada's frosty relationship with New Japan. But stranger things have happened. But once we get there, I'll be happier. And yeah, that massive mega babyface run for Takeshita has got to be down the road here, and I can't wait for it to happen. I might even just doing a Kyle Fletcher match at some point. That will be box office. So I can't wait for that.
Yeah, that's money right there. Then we got for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, they're going to be up for grabs in a 4-way ladder match as the new champions Bandito, and Brody King will defend against former 3-time champions, the Young Bucks, Jet Speedball Mike Bailey, and Kevin the Jet Knight, and representing the Don Callis family, Hechicero and Josh Alexander. This match was just made this week, so we had 3 qualifying matches at September to remember, with the Young Bucks with their $500,000, more like $50,000, the way Nick is spending the money, got the win over the Bang Bang Gang. Jet Speed picked up a win over the former Patriarchy, Killswitch, and Kip Sabian, while the Don Callis family picked up a win over Top Flight. These are 4 teams that are surely to excel in this type of format. This should be an absolute blast, and it has all the makings to be like a dark horse for match of the night, knowing like how good the Young Bucks are in tag team matches. Jet Speed and Brodito seem tailor-made for a ladder match, and you got great bases in Hechicero and Josh Alexander, so has all the makings to deliver. Benno, who gets to win?
I think this will be fucking awesome. Like, I can't wait for it. Just look at the graphic. Like, look at the talent in this one. It's going to be incredible. It's funny because I think most people think Brodito are winning this thing. I think Young Bucks. I think this is a way to get the belts on the Young Bucks without having to pin Brodito. I don't know what you do with them afterwards. I would like a more concerted singles push for both of those guys down the road. But to me, I kind of feel like Cope and Christian aren't long for this world as a team, but they'll want to work with the Bucks. You could potentially, don't kill me, do something with FTR and the Bucks again as well. I just feel like it fits into the puzzle of what they're doing booking wise, and I don't think Brodito was ever a long-term plan. Maybe they'll pivot and maybe they will keep the belts a little bit longer, but yeah, I really see it being the Bucks this one, so I'm surprised to see like the massive people going the other way. But either way, the match is going to be fucking great, isn't it? 4-star floor on this one. That's where we start, and then we go up.
If it gets 4 stars, it's a disappointment. Like, that's how
absolutely
good the people are in this matchup.
Indeed.
Maggie?
Guys, I don't know. This is I really don't know. I don't think Brodito are retaining either because I'm a big Buddy Matthews girl. I'm so angry that he's not here. I'm angry that he's hurt, and I'm angry that Brody is holding a tag championship without him. I'm really, really angry. Brodito is really fun. That's a really nice tag team that they cater to the audience with them winning those championship titles, and that's great because like it gives us a feel good moment. I don't think that any of us thought that Brodito were gonna win those titles. I feel like, oh no, did Genius think that they were winning the tag? Yeah,
he's the only one that predicted.
He was the only one that predicted that. Hey, kudos to me for remembering shit. Okay, I don't remember if I drank my medicine, but I remember that Genius said something about a tag team that I don't really like. Yeah, I kind of feel, I don't know if the Young Bucks are winning. I'm a huge Young Bucks fan. I don't care what the people say. But I don't know if they're winning here. I kind of lean towards Jet Speed, but actually they haven't put themselves over enough out there for them to be tag champions. Hechicero and Josh Alexander, I'm a huge fan of Josh Alexander in his Impact days. He carried that company through shit, and I feel like the guy deserves it. I really don't. I'm gonna pass on. I really have no idea. I'm so torn that I feel like the safe bet here is to say that Brodito retain their championships here. But I'm really not sure. I have no idea. I'm gonna pick Brodito retaining, but this is a brain scratcher. Head scratcher?
Genius?
No, brain
scratcher. Head scratcher.
Oh man. I think the match is gonna be an array of wildness that we haven't seen before, and that I am counting on. Sidebar, I felt like Josh Alexander could have been a good singles push runaway to have a good feud with Hanger by himself. Instead of us getting to Kyle and Hanger so early. That's a personal opinion at the end of the day. But that is what it is. With this match specifically, Bro Dito retains. Like a lot of people are saying in the chat, a boy will reunite with his dinosaur and we will see him return somewhere in this match.
Oh, okay.
And that will build from all the stuff that's been happening on BTE. Ladies and gentlemen, I got into the Young Bucks through BTE.
Yes.
I am appreciative that BTE is back and that it's doing what it's doing, and it always used to be used to build their stories no matter where the Young Bucks were wrestling at the time. Now that they're obviously on AEW all the time, we continue to build these stories, and they've been ignoring Jack. Jack sent them a knife, telling them, "You should have never turned back on me." At the end of the day, so I feel like the boy will reunite with his dinosaur, because his dinosaur did walk out on Kip Sabian during the Dynamite match at the end of the day, and we will see them reunite and cause the Young Bucks this match. Bro Dito will retain. I still see so many different matches for Bro Dito to have before they end up losing the tag belts. To who? I don't know. But I still see them having a lot of different matches with the different tag teams in the division. But this is going to be a wild one. But I do expect Bro Dito to retain here. And, Jet Speed's going to do some wild shit. Because, Kev jumps high freaking Mike Bailey just does wild stuff at times when it comes to his head. Like, you see when the light bulb goes off in his head during match, and I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna do some wild crap. So that's where I'm going with it.
How about that crab be him cutting off that?
The mullet? No.
Fuck that. Fuck that.
I got Bro Dito retaining as well. I think they're just too good and they have too much momentum. And it felt like a pivot when they won the titles at Forbidden Door. And I wouldn't want Tony to go back on the pivot by just making them drop the titles 1 month later. So they deserve a little bit of a run. And I agree with Jane News. I want to see them versus Jet Speed. I want to see them versus Gates of Agony again. Them versus the Bucks again. Them versus FTR again. And I think we need them to hold the titles at least a couple of more months. But someone who has... Are you going to go?
I have a question, which is the next match that we're gonna talk about, because if it's a long fucking ass one, I have to leave. So which?
No. I was just gonna do this one, and then I was gonna sign you out. I'm gonna do one for the ladies here. I got the ladies next here, so we can finish off with that with you. But for the AEW Women's World Championship, it will be Timeless Toni Storm defending against Jamie Hayter, Chris Statlander, and Thekla. Toni Storm is coming off the heels of two of her biggest victories as AEW Women's World Champion against Mercedes Moné at All In and against Athena at Forbidden Door. She called out the entire women's roster, and the three women that stepped up are the three women she will be facing in this four-way at All Out, challenging Hayter, Statlander, and Thekla to face her in a 4 ways to die. She says that she is a woman who is ready for her murder, and she wants someone to finish her and end her reign. She's been going at it with Thekla over the last couple of weeks. She got into the face of Hayter and Statlander this week on Dynamite. But who is going to walk out AEW Women's World Champion? I have hated the build to this matchup. I love all four of these ladies, but this is the most lazily put together multi-person matchup I think I've ever seen on an AEW pay-per-view. It's so haphazardly lazy booking. Yeah, and that says a lot. But this was beyond lazy, where I understand that there's people that's like, oh, Toni, there's no way Toni's going to lose here. But if you listen to Toni's promos, she's kind of indicated that she's ready for this to end. She's ready for this to lose. And in, going up from the 90s to the 2000s, I'm used to wrestling promotions protecting their top stars. So I can see a world where this four-way is a vehicle to take the title off of Timeless Toni Storm without her actually losing here. But Maggie, what have you thought about the build? Who do you think wins on Saturday?
Yeah, so I hate this build. It's not existent. It's lazy. It's stupid. But sweetie Toni, I also want someone to finish me off. But listen, she said that she wants her to die, and they need to put her ashes in a bong.
Yes, so you can get as high as Tony Star will make them.
What the fuck? So okay, there's one thing that makes me excited for this match, and this is the Wheeler Yuta aspect of the entire thing. This is because I'm so interested in the Chris Statlander aspect for the for the Death Riders, and this is the part where I'm so fucking bummed out that Shayna Baszler isn't here. I mean, we all knew that she was getting production roles when she was, let go from the main roster and everything, and fine, but I thought that this was where we're headed to. I thought that Chris Statlander was gonna say a definitive no, and then Shayna Baszler comes in, and her and Marina Shafir kill her, and that's how Willow goes back to Chris Statlander, and they form a team and then battle each other. But now it's not happening. So is Chris Statlander joining the Death Riders? I have no idea. But I'm excited to see, because Wheeler Yuta has been butting his stupid face in Chris Statlander's business, and I'm really excited about that. And it's really stupid. The thing that I'm most excited for has nothing to do with the women's championship. And I hope that this means that Toni Storm does not lose her championship in this match specifically, because it's crap. The women are really good, and I love all of them. But I feel like Toni Storm as a champion should lose her title in a bigger way. It should be built more, and we should experience every step of the way towards that. And that's why I kind of feel like she's not losing her championship here. And am I plugging my shit now? Because I need to.
Yes. Very quickly, MJF versus Mark Briscoe.
MJF, of course.
Darby Allin versus John Moxley. Who you got?
I hope Moxley kills Darby. I fucking hate Darby.
I know.
Also, the bigger question here is what Daniel Bryan Danielson whispered in his ear. Yeah. He probably said, "Please suffocate Wheeler Yuta." I hate that guy. Probably.
There we go. That's probably wise. And Hangman Adam Page defends against Kyle Fletcher.
Hangman, but I'm not gonna be mad at a double champ. I'm not.
Me
really
either. But Maggie, thank you so much. I know we weren't planning to have you, but I'm glad you showed up. And we got through most of the card anyway. We've been really making good time just for you. But let everybody know where they can follow you, where they can see you over on Fightful Overbook, or anything you want to plug right now. The floor is yours.
Guys, thank you so much for having me. I'm always glad to be on a True Heel Heat channel. You guys rule so much. So you can follow me on Twix or X or Twitter or whatever.
Did you say Twix?
Yeah, I call it Twix because it's Twitter and it's X, so it's Twix. Let's Twix it together. Come on. This is not news. So you can follow me there at Maggie_IK and on Instagram at Maggie.IK. If you guys are still doing the Blue Sky thing, you can follow me at Maggie-IK. Please join me after the show is done with Rob and I on Fightful Overbook for coexisting with Rob and Maggie. And please, please, please subscribe to Fightful Overbooked on YouTube and on Fightful Select on Patreon. It is the easiest $5.99 you're ever going to spend on wrestling. Listen to Sleep Token all the time. I hope you guys are good. I love you.
We love you too, Maggie. Take care, and we will see you for the next pay-per-view. Bye. Benno, who you got?
I haven't had the Twix in years. That's all I can think about now. I want one of them. You don't sell them in 7-Eleven over here. Love a good Twix.
He's like, now I want a Twix. Damn it.
Yeah, I might fly home for that now. I might have to.
But what have you thought about the build to the 4-way for the women's championship, and who walks out with the gold?
Yeah, again, similar to like Mercedes, like this was an open goal to have a big women's match on this show, and you could even have ended with it. It's not going to be this. And it's less about the match for me. Like the match is going to be fine. Tony's going to go over. It's just hope that something gets set up, whether it's, dare I say it, a Jamie Hayter heel turn, or even a face versus face thing with Toni Storm, or Thekla carries on like the momentum she's got and she becomes like a proper challenger for Toni. Just something, even stat, like something. There needs to be some great creative idea that's coming out of this. There is a reason for this to exist that we can all look at afterwards and go, oh, now I get it. Because otherwise, yeah, it is underwhelming, as you both said.
Yeah. So you think wins?
I go with Toni, of course. Yeah, Toni.
Yeah. J News.
Yeah, I'm still a little flabbergasted by the fact that Maggie said the word excited and Wheeler Yuta in the same sentence. I'm a little thrown by that. But I'll say this. I'm not so much on the negative on the build towards this, because it just reminds me a lot of how they threw the Okada thing together. Really? So
nah, this was more haphazardly put together. And no, I mean the Okada thing, they just announced it out of nowhere. Like, but this was a little bit like disingenuous, where they were like, you see, they've been fighting for weeks. We've been building it up for weeks. No, you haven't. You just came up with this idea,
right?
And had them run the angle.
Look, at the end of the day, I'll say that this women's match is gonna bang. I'll say that, because I'm looking forward to the match itself. I myself do not prefer Chris Statlander as a heel. That's my personal preference. I think Chris Statlander is one of the better babyface women's wrestlers out there. But if she wants to go heel and she wants to give it a try, hey, let's see what happens. Jamie Hayter is Jamie Hayter. She hits hard. I like the promo bit that they did on Dynamite. I like that. I also like the video package that came out yesterday. At least that's what I saw.
The countdown video package was good. I liked Tony's part of the Spotlight promo. I thought it was very contrived, of the interruptions with Hayter and Statlander. And Statlander sounded so much like a WWE revolving door Divas promo, where I'm just going to say this one line and get my catchphrase in. No one can stop Stat.
How much had Stokely talking for her? I feel like it was a fever dream. Did that really happen?
Like, why was like the simplest thing to do? And like,
they were running. They were during the segment. I felt like they were running time so that they were on time for Thekla's music to hit. They were rushing for Thekla's music to hit. Yeah. So they didn't want to overrun that. I thought it was something different for the ladies to do, because the ladies, I don't think I've ever been given that spotlight on the stage before to cut a promo. So it was a different thing for them to do in that particular perspective. But for all intents and purposes, I think the match is going to bang. I think Toni retains here. As she's been saying for weeks now, she's looking for her murder, right? She's not looking to lose her title. She's looking for her murder. So her murder also has to coincide with her title loss. Like Maggie said, I think that should be a bigger deal. She's not going to lose this belt here. Whoever does end up murdering Toni Storm, it's got to be a big deal, right? Yeah. And I don't think it's going to be any of the ladies in this match, if I'm being quite honest. So there's that of it.
Who do you think it is?
Yeah. When she didn't lose to Mercedes, I was kind of thinking, well, they must have a big idea. They haven't shown it so far, have they?
I think they have an idea in place. I just don't think, like I said, I don't think it's any of the ladies in this match. I don't know who it is, but it's not. I just don't think it's any of the ladies in this match. So that's all to say with that. But yeah, Toni retains, and I think the ladies are going to go, pun intended, the ladies are going to go all out, and they're going to do the damn thing, and they're going to kill it in the match.
Like I said, I thought the build was shit. But I think when the bell rings, it's gonna rock. Yeah. I think Chris Statlander is one of the best women's wrestlers in the world. I think Toni Storm is the women's wrestler of the year, especially if you're just counting North American wrestlers. No one's doing it on the level of Toni Storm in the ring, on the mic, as a character. No one's checking all three of those boxes at the level that Toni Storm is right now. And I think that Jamie Hayter, I found it interesting that it seems like the fans are most interested in Jamie Hayter versus Toni Storm, despite that being the one match that Toni has really had out of these three challengers. Like, she's never faced Thekla 1-on-1, never faced Statlander 1-on-1 in AEW, so you would think they would be more interested in those, but because they've kind of defined and not really given Stat a story until this Death Riders one, which has been very haphazardly consistently done. Like it's done one week and then they forget about it the next week. They've been a lot more consistent the last month. But this whole story started, might y'all forget, in June. It started in June. And we're still in the first chapter of this story. There's no way a chapter of a story should take 3 months. No, not in wrestling. That's not. I don't care what Triple H tells y'all. No, that's not how wrestling works.
Listen, man.
3 years with Triple H.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the whole thing, the difference between AEW and WWE was supposed to be the long form storytelling, right? So they're dragging this along.
There is a difference between long-term storytelling and telling a story too long. That is what we are doing.
I agree with you.
So I am asking for to get a kick in the ass, and let's get something going here. I'm going with Chris Statlander winning thanks to outside interference from Wheeler Yuta and Marina Shafir. She wins the title. She pins Toni. You kickstart Statlander versus Toni for the title. That's how you get. We need a shakeup. Like we can't just have Toni win. Like have Toni win and hope someone comes back or someone comes up to be her new challenger, or the mystical, oh, that person's not it, that person's not it, oh, this person's it. No, Statlander is one of the best in the world in the ring. We just haven't given her the spotlight. Give it a spotlight now.
So then in with what you're saying, and if Stat's really gonna be the one to get to be performing this murder, then she's gonna have to make some changes, correct? Stat, that is.
She's accepting that she's a Death Rider.
Right, but the physical
put the plastic bag over Tony's head.
Okay.
You want to murder? You want to murder?
True, there you go.
You got to go to the extreme here, bro. You got to go to the extreme. So it's gonna be.
Who's the perfect person to commit a murder? A Death Rider.
Sure.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Does.
I always am going to predict what, one, either I think is going to happen, or two, what I want to happen, and that's what I want to happen. But let's talk about the last three matches here, which have probably been like the some of the best built going into this show. You have tables and tax match. Mark Briscoe will go one-on-one with Maxwell Jacob Freeman, MJF. This whole rivalry really started ahead of All in Texas. These two men were involved in the Casino Gauntlet matchup at All in Texas, but had some animosity against each other. It started off with the joke with Mark Briscoe talking about MJF's kosher pickle, but got taken to the extreme when MJF brought up Briscoe's brother, Jay Briscoe, saying that everybody in the business respects Jay Briscoe, but Mark will never have the same respect as Jay. Then taking it one step further and saying that Jay must be disappointed in the loser that Mark has become, to the point that he would probably look Chicken in the face and tell him that it should have been him in that accident instead of him, which caused Briscoe to go over, to snap and go crazy, going after MJF every single turn, every single week on Dynamite, until the two men met in Cleveland after the behest of Hangman Adam Page, who said that MJF had to prove himself to get another opportunity at the AEW World Title against him. They faced each other there, with MJF picking up the victory, but only because the referee did not see Mark Briscoe's leg on the ropes. That led to Forbidden Door, where MJF challenged Hangman Adam Page for the World Title. MJF once again looked like he was going to get the win with his opponent's foot on the rope, but Mark Briscoe came out, caused a distraction, which led to the referee realizing Hangman's foot was on the rope, restarting the matchup, which led to Hangman retaining. MJF has been hell-bent on getting revenge since then, so he actually cost Mark Briscoe an opportunity at Championship Gold when Mark Briscoe faced Konosuke Takeshita to get an opportunity at the TNT title. MJF left his wife the night of their wedding to go to Philadelphia to interfere in that matchup, telling Mark Briscoe that he wants to face him, he wants to murder him, he wants to kill him, so he can pick any match anytime he wants. Mark put All Out and then revealed that it would be tables and tax match. MJF talks about that he just got married, but he is really married to hatred. And his obsession with getting revenge on Mark Briscoe has led to this. It'll be thousands of texts. It'll be multiple tables. This should be physical. This should be bloody. This should be chaos. I've really liked this rivalry. I think it's done a lot for Mark Briscoe. I think that AEW I've really established Mark Briscoe as like a solid upper mid-carder who can probably with some wins eventually become like a fringe main eventer. I don't think he's going to be a permanent main eventer, but I could see him being like a challenger for a world title at this point. And a lot of that comes down to MJF, who needed this. He needed this rivalry coming off the heels of whatever he was doing with the Hurt Syndicate, which
I was going to say, remember that?
Yeah, never came to fruition, but he's came up and he's had a very well done program with Hangman Page heading into Forbidden Door, which is still continuing. This is a rivalry that started in February that's still going on, really. And now he's had this rivalry for the last 3 months with Mark Briscoe, which has really gone a long way to establish Mark Briscoe on the AEW roster. Benno, whatever
Plus
you thought
Mystical
about
on the side.
Yes, Mystical too, which culminates tonight in Reno, Mexico.
Spinning a lot of plates, and sometimes that can be like to its detriment. I think there's been I had ups and downs with this feud. I actually could have done with a little bit more on Dynamite this week to sell this thing, and they had 3 hours, so I don't know why it got such limited time. It was a video package, wasn't it? And then we had the MJF conversation with Tony Khan, and that was pretty much it. But like, none of that really matters because this is going to be fucking great. Like, you can picture it, can't you, in your head? You can literally see MJF selling the tax. Like, he's going to take a gnarly bump into the tax, and it's going to be fucking great. Mark Briscoe is going to do a froggy bow through a table. 100% guaranteed. There's going to be crazy spots. There's going to be violence. Somebody's going to bleed. Probably both of them are going to bleed. It's going to be great. And Mark Briscoe's going to lose because that's what happens with Mark Briscoe. But fuck me, is it going to be a great ride along the way? Like, I really think this is like the possible sleeper match of the night just because they've got great chemistry and they're just two great characters, really. They're going to be massively over with this audience. Don't get me wrong, I'd love a Mark Briscoe win. Like you said there, he's a couple of wins away from being a more serious prospect on AEW shows, especially when there's a big gap at the top end of the card right now. But just something about the way his book tells me that's probably not happening. It's an MJF win. And as you said, he's got the title shot in his back pocket still. So we're heading back to MJF and Hangman at some point. So he probably can't lose here. But I'll be wishing for it either way, even if my head tells me MJF goes over.
J News.
Yeah, man. You know, I disagree with you. I didn't like the build of this match at all. I just didn't. You mentioned haphazard when it comes to the majority of the builds of the matches on this card. I gave my hype level for the entire show a 9 because of the matches themselves, not necessarily the build. I didn't necessarily appreciate the build to this. And I'm not sure if I'm just over MJF shtick at this point in my fandom of AEW. But for the violence that it's going to be and the levels that Mark Briscoe can dig down deep for and stuff like that, I'm ready for that, per se. I think they dragged this a bit too long for my liking from a feud standpoint. And now we're here. And it's going to get bloody, much like Benno said. It's going to get violent, and I'm all for it. But at this point, at this stage in my AEW fandom, I'm just tired of MJF shtick, and the build towards it just didn't do much for me because it's just regular MJF stuff, nothing new. I hope that the match at the CMLL show tonight goes great. And whatnot. Mystico should win that match by all intents and purposes. And then he's got to take that flight right back to Canada, that being MJF. And I would assume MJF wins this match, being that he wants to eventually invoke that contract against Hanger down the line. So, yeah. Reluctantly, I'll pick MJF to win the match. I would rather it be Mark, but I see the writing on the wall at the end of the day, and that's just what it is.
I've thought that MJF's promo work has been really good in this promo, in this feud, because I think that he's actually focused on actually elevating Mark Briscoe. So I think that's the reason why I've enjoyed it the most, as far as like the MJF perspective of it. And I think that these two characters are just like, they're born to feud at one point. So I've enjoyed it a lot. I can understand you saying that it dragged a bit. Because they were basically telling the Hangman story with MJF at the same time, so I could understand what you're saying that, but I think that they've done good work together. So as far as who I think is going to win, I disagree with you. I think that Mark Briscoe wins this one. This feels like the matchup that he wins in this rivalry, because one, MJF has a movie that he's shooting right now in Winnipeg, Violent Light 2. Two, he has that contract, and I just think that the best thing that he can do now, since he's already faced Hangman for the world title, is going out of sight, out of mind for a month or two, and then coming back and invoking that contract. And then three, he needs to go on his honeymoon. This crazy motherfucker is just going all over the place, and Alicia, too, that beautiful soul, is just at home wondering he's ever going to come back. I think he loses both of these matches tonight and tomorrow afternoon, and then he gets written off for like a month or two.
That's completely feasible. I can see that happening.
It's worse than her being at home, though. She's at work with him. That's even worse. They should both be off. They should have better things to do. I agree. Because I think I'd split the difference on both of them. That I think there's been moments in this feud I've really been into it, but we're not at the peak, really. And I think they probably could have let it go away for a while and then brought it back. He could have taken this time off, but it's MJF, so we never will he? I don't even believe he's really going to take a honeymoon. It'll be one of those Thursday to Tuesday things, so he's back for the next Wednesday. Like, honestly, I can't see him taking time off.
No. Him and the other person we're going to talk about here that's in a big step matchup tomorrow afternoon. Jon Moxley, the former AEW World Champion. He goes one-on-one with his arch rival, Darby Allin, in a coffin match at All In Texas. It was Darby Allin who made his return after climbing Mount Everest, came out, took out the Death Riders, leading to Hangman Adam Page defeating Jon Moxley for the top prize in All Elite Wrestling, ending the reign of terror of Moxley and the Death Riders. But Darby has been obsessed with taking down and taking out the Death Riders once and for all since then, since making his return. He teamed with Will Ospreay, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and the Golden Lovers to defeat the Death Riders inside of a lights out steel cage at Forbidden Door, but the Death Riders got the last laugh as they locked Will Ospreay inside the cage, took him out, broke his neck, had him stretchered out of the building, which caused Darby to think about all the pain and suffering the Death Riders have put everybody through, and that life is too short. Remembering his climb up to Mount Everest and seeing all the dead bodies that didn't survive, and knowing that life and the wrestling business is all too short, and how the Death Riders have shortened the careers or ended the careers of so many people he looked up to or respected in this business, that he wanted revenge. He challenged Moxley for All Out. Moxley persisted, did not want to accept, until Darby made him accept and made it a coffin match. Can this all come to a head tomorrow afternoon? And then the added bonus, Darby Allin sat down with Bryan Danielson, the man that really started all of this. You remember, it was 1 year ago that Darby Allin started the whole Death Riders whole thing, because he accepted a challenge from Jon Moxley that he didn't need to accept, putting his championship opportunity on the line against Moxley at Grand Slam last year at this time, losing to Moxley, which led to Moxley beating Bryan and winning the AEW World Championship, ending Bryan's career. He asked Bryan not to get involved in this coffin match, despite being one of the broadcasters at the announce table, but Bryan made Darby make his own promise that he would do something this Saturday. So what will it be? What have you thought about the build to this match here, and who is going to be put inside the coffin? J News.
I honestly don't know. Reason being is that I feel like there should be a finality to a coffin match, but it's not like Darby and Mox have had several matches to build to this match. There have been several interactions, but not several matches per se. And yeah, I don't know, man. I really, really don't know. I'll say this though. It'll be violent. It'll get violent. We'll see. We'll probably see, forks again, if anything. We will see a body bag at the end of the day with Mox's name on it. We might see light tubes. We might see some glass in this match for all intents and purposes. So that's where my head is going. And yeah, but for the winner, like if Darby kills Mox, it's got to be the end of the Death Riders. And I don't see that happening right now. You know what I'm saying? So with that said, I think Mox figures out a way to win this match. And I think this continues on until whatever they want to do to really blow this off at the end of the day. So I'll land there.
Benno?
Yeah, this is the most 50-50 I'm on any match on this card. But it's also, like, for that reason, the most invested I am in any match in this card. Like, the other matches we've talked about, as we keep saying, they're all going to be great matches, but there's been mixed fortunes as far as the build goes. This one, I'm really into it. I really want to see what happens. I really want to see Darby win. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it. I'd lean that way if I have to pick one or the other, but like it wouldn't shock me if Moxley won either. Like what I do know is it's going to be awesome because I know how many ideas is Darby going to have. How many is like walking up fucking Mount Everest? Was he coming up with different ways he could be launched out of a coffin? Like somebody on our Discord suggested they'll use there'll be like the first ever glass coffin or something like that. He'll come up with fucking something, and Moxley's going to be well up for it as well. Moxley's going to have his own ridiculous ideas for it as well. So yeah, violence, like a great match. We're definitely going to get. And an outcome genuinely in doubt. Like I may just about leaving Darby, but that's maybe because I want to see Darby win, such as my investment in this. And then maybe the way you could do that is you could have Moxley then pairs off with Eddie Kingston. We move on to that. Point taken, like you would think there'd be more Darby matches in it for Moxley and Darby, so that does point to a heel win. But maybe the timing, maybe the fact that Darby's been off means they've only got, the time for one big match. They're going to go out there and kill it. Darby's going to go over, and then Moxley goes on to Kingston or something else, and we move on. That's the only way I can make it make sense in my brain. But either way, I can't fucking wait. Like, this is the match of the show for me. In a different reality, this could be the world title match on the show, couldn't it? If, they hadn't put the belt on Hangman or Darby hadn't been gone. Like, that could be the reality we're living in, and it could easily go on last too, such as how well this has been built. I can't wait.
I think this was supposed to be where we were supposed to end up with Darby winning the championship. This was supposed to be it at the end of the day. But obviously, things change and all that jazz, and we're where we're at now. And yeah, man, I expect big things from the match. Yet again, like Benno was saying, I'm heavily invested in this match. This has been the most concrete, even though it's a linear build, it's been the best build of all the matches outside of the main event as well. That there's been on the entire show. You know what I'm saying? So I agree there. But yeah, Dion's right. I think at the end of the day, the Death Riders are going to be around for a while. So that being the case, I just don't see Darby winning here. Because whoever beats Mox in a violent match like this, per se, right? Because Hanger won the championship. He freed the championship, right? But the Death Riders are still around. Darby's thing is he wants to kill the Death Riders as a whole. So I think there's going to be the point of him having to go back to the drawing board and finding a way to dismantle the Death Riders piece by piece after this match. So that's why I think Mox is going to win in earnest.
I think that him breaking down the Death Riders piece by piece starts here. It starts with him putting Moxley into the casket, and it probably ends with him beating Daniel Garcia, the newest member of the Death Riders. Like, that's where I think the direction that they're gonna go in, because I think that it's more of an interesting story, Moxley going into a coffin and at least being out for a week or two, because we've been seeing Moxley matches every single week of the builds of this show. So
we all thought to take time off after he lost the belt. Just didn't happen, did it?
Like I would like him to take like a week or two off at the very least, like preferably a month or two, but I would take at least least a week or two. And I think him going into the coffin is the only way that we will get that. And I think it tells a more interesting story on how the Death Riders respond to the absence of Jon Moxley, and how they continue the rivalry with Darby without Moxley around.
I agree with you in that I thought he'd take time off, and I almost wanted him to take time off at one point. Like, at one point, I was fucking hating Moxley, like, maybe by design, maybe not, with some of the, the stuff that happened this year. But him sticking around since he lost the belt, like, he's just been fucking, how great has he been? Like, his wrestler of the
really
year,
good.
End of the Sea, has been in this period, really, since the night he lost the belt, and since, he's been, like, the MVP of AEW. So, I've been glad he hasn't gone away, but it surprised me as much as anyone.
Yeah, but I've been saying that for a while, that he should go take a break and go home and be a girl dad for a while and stuff like that, and then come back whenever he feels like it. At the end of the day, but he has been great. Has Jon Moxley? Question to both you guys, and I think this is interesting. Based on something SP3 just said, do you think there is are we going through a transition period with the Death Riders? Are we going to be seeing members leave the Death Riders and new members take over the Death Riders?
What
do you guys at?
Yeah, with Garcia taking the Utah spot and Chris maybe joining. Yeah, I could see that, like, they're doing something there. Something's happening, isn't it? But that could be the whisper. That could be what's going on with Bryan and Darby. Maybe that links in.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what it is that Bryan whispered to him, and I expect Bryan to do some of his best work during this matchup on commentary on the night, for sure. We do have a super chat donation. I forgot to read it before when we were talking about the women's matchup. Thank you so much, Michael Allen Lewis. We missed you, good brother. Good to see you in the chat today. He says, All Out 2022. Toni won her first title in a 4-way after Britt cost Jamie. Since Dynamite after is going to be in Pittsburgh, do you see a Britt return, this time helping Jamie if they're cool now? From what I'm aware, Michael, they're not cool now, so I don't see that happening in regards to helping Jamie. I can see Britt returning on the Dynamite in Pittsburgh. Once I saw that was on the calendar, they usually like to save their returns for either the pay-per-view or the Dynamite following the pay-per-view. That seems like the best spot to do a Britt return.
Yeah. But if not, then she's never coming back, is she?
She's
like
never
that.
coming back. Yeah.
Goes.
If she's not on Dynamite next week, she's never coming back.
Yeah. I don't, if she's not on the Dynamite at Pittsburgh, she's not coming back. And also, yet again, my own personal perspective, she's not the one to be giving Toni Storm her murder. At the end of the day, she's not the one. So
yeah, I was gonna say, I know we've been talking on this show. We've been talking about like putting together all tag teams. We're getting the Acclaim back together. We're getting Jurassic Express back together. I've started to wonder what year it is, but it's not 2021. Britt Baker can't be that girl anymore, can she? We've moved on.
Nope. We've moved on. This company has moved on, and it's moved on to the point that we have this as our main event. Hangman Adam Page defending the AEW World Championship against the reigning TNT champion, the Proto Star, Kyle Fletcher. I say the Proto Star, Kyle Fletcher, because he wants me to say my full name. This whole rivalry spurned off of Hangman, of course, retaining the AEW World Championship at Forbidden Door against MJF. Don Callis interrupted him on the Dynamite following Forbidden Door and said that he wanted to bring the AEW World Title to the Don Callis family. This led to a 8-man all-star tag team matchup with Hangman and Kenny Omega teaming with the Jet Speed to face the Don Callis family, where Kyle Fletcher picked up the victory in that matchup. Following the match, Don Callis family jumped the AEW World Champion, with Fletcher delivering a sheer drop brainbuster through an open chair on Hangman, leaving him laying, and then delivering a sheer drop brainbuster off of the apron through a table at ringside on Kenny Omega, causing Kenny Omega to be sidelined and stretchered out of the building. Following that, Fletcher issued his challenge to Hangman for the AEW World Title at All Out. Hangman accepted the challenge, but made a challenge of his own to Fletcher. Can he do it on his own? Is he as good as he says he is? And will he make sure that the Don Callis family is not at ringside, that it's one-on-one between them at All Out, which Fletcher agreed. But Hangman, learning his lesson from his last rivalry with MJF, put it into the contract and made an extra stipulation that if the Don Callis family interfered on Saturday, not only would Fletcher lose the matchup via DQ, he would lose the TNT championship as he would be stripped of the title. Fletcher said all of that didn't matter. It didn't matter if he had the Don Callis family because it didn't change anything. He was in his prime. He was better than Hangman when the company started in 2019. He's better than Hangman when he won the first world title in 2021. And he's better than him now in 2025. And he proved that by laying out Hangman with the AEW world title and a sheer drop brainbuster off the apron through a table at ringside to close Dynamite this week. I think that AEW, Hangman, and Kyle Fletcher have done an amazing job with the build to this matchup. In 3 weeks, they have made Kyle Fletcher not only feel like a world beater, he feels like he's a guy that can be the top heel in this company, that can be a world champion. And I think that the news of Copeland and Christian opening the show on Saturday makes it clear that this should be the main event, and this makes a huge statement. It's AEW putting a 26-year-old in the main event, saying that he's the future of this company against their top guy, Hangman Page. So bravo on AEW. This was not a title match that I saw coming when it happened, but as it happened, I was like, it makes a whole bunch of sense, and Fletcher has really solidified himself as a main eventer in this build. So, Benno, who wins on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, it's Hangman, but what a 3 weeks for Kyle Fletcher. Like, it has been, like, it's like taking out Kenny Omega, then the 2 promo segments we've had the last couple of weeks, and he's not a main event promo yet. He's not a main eventer yet. But they've made that part of the story too. I love every part of it because obviously, like we keep saying, there's a gap at the top of the card. Kenny's out, Ospreay's out, Swerve is out. And in an ideal world, Hangman would have a more heavy-duty world title defense on this show. But you've got to turn that negative into a positive, and that's exactly what they've done. They put Kyle Fletcher in this moment, they've let him shine, and he's worked up to it, and I've got no doubt he's going to work up to the level in the match as well. This is a match we're going to look back on in 6 months and a year, whenever Kyle Fletcher's real main event run comes and go, we saw it there, we saw him do it with Hangman, and that makes sense in a kayfabe point of view, and it makes sense from a shoot point of view as well, because this is just going to be great, isn't it? And I think it's inspired booking, and yeah, I applaud them for doing it, really. And my God, like Kyle Fletcher's a wrestler. Like I think I saw his second match in Wolverhampton somewhere. Like he was a skinny teenager teaming with Mark Davis, and here we are now. It's unbelievable, and he's earned it, absolutely earned it in every way. And the future is so exciting. And yeah, what a breath of fresh air this match is. I'm really into it. And same as you, SP3, it's not something I would have booked. It's not something, even when it first started to be teased, that I thought, I'm not sure about that as like a mainline main event. And it isn't that, but it's kind of that by design. They've told that story and it's been so effective. And yeah, Kyle Fletcher's going to lose, obviously, but it's going to be about the performance. That's what we're going to be talking about on Sunday morning.
Yeah, if this is like a match of the year candidate, he's a made man. He's a made man in this company, and he's definitely going to win the world title in the next 2 years. So, Jay News, who wins, and what have you thought about the build?
I thought like you guys, the last 3 weeks of this has definitely turned me into not a believer, because I've always been behind Kyle Fletcher. I think Kyle's great. I think Kyle's got a bright future in professional wrestling as it is. He is one of the stalwarts of AEW. At the end, he is for to use a term that AEW uses, he is a pillar of AEW currently at as to where he's at. He's definitely outshined a lot of the guys who were, deemed pillars before at the end of the day. Yeah. So Kyle Fletcher's definitely stepped up. I didn't see this match happening at the end of the day. I thought it was a little bit, I thought it was rushed, but there's also the understanding, right? The comprehension. The majority of the guys who are faces are out now. Will just had successful neck surgery. Props to Will. Hopefully everything goes well with recovery. Swerve's on recovery mode already. Kenny's doing some treatment stuff in Japan. I cannot I would be remiss if I didn't mention Jay White. Reason being, Jay White's been the biggest thorn in Hanger's side the last 3 years he's been there. And with Jay White being hurt, I feel like this would have been like the perfect time for Jay to come in and do get into the title picture and stuff like that. But obviously Jay's hurt as well and things of that nature. So there's that. But this match should be fantastic at the end of the day. I don't put anything past Hanger. I don't put anything past Kyle Fletcher. These two guys are spectacular talents, and they're going to take this to a level that we hopefully haven't seen before. But Hanger retains here. Who becomes Hanger's next opponent is still to be determined. Because we already spoke about it. MJF's probably going to go off on his honeymoon. He's probably going to get a month off. So we're going to need somebody to fill that gap for Hanger at the end of the day. And there's that part of it. And where does Kyle go after this match if he loses? Right? He's still the TNT champion. Is he going to continue to be a fighting champion? Are they going to continue to spotlight some of the other mid-card talents on the roster along with Kyle? Like, how does that work going forward for Kyle after a loss? So there's that aspect of it. And like we spoke about earlier, is this the point if Kyle loses where he really starts to turn on Don Callis, where he starts to really feel like he doesn't really need it and things of that nature? If Don at some point during this match gets himself somewhat involved, right? Not necessarily directly, but he's around and then Kyle blames him for some reason or whatever, story shit. Will this be the point where Kyle starts to distance himself from the family and stuff like that? So there's that of it as well. So but I think the match is going to be great. And whoever's next on Hanger's card is going to have to step up and know how to hang with the main eventers, because the main eventers in the AEW roster are no joke. There's that.
Yeah, I expect this to be up there as far as the match of the night. It has like potential match of the year candidate as far as like its ceiling where it can end up. So, but in the end, yeah, it's no doubt Hangman gets the win. My prediction, though, my wild prediction for this: Hangman gets the win. He's standing tall at the end of the night. I'm becoming. Oh, no. The Judas in my chest.
Don't we have nice things? SP3, come on.
His return.
Don't do that.
Why would you do that to us? Why put that in the world?
And do one more program with AEW before his contract expires.
Oh my God.
That's just not.
Jesus, do you want the entire wrestling world to turn their TVs off, bro? Like,
Does anybody want this other than Christopher Irvine? No one else wants this.
This is Tony Khan being like, all right, y'all
and Jessica
guys y'all can turn to WrestlePalooza now.
Yeah, let him turn up over there. Let him come out at the end of Cena Lesnar. Do that. Let's go that direction. Fuck. Jesus Christ.
Man, that. Woof. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Judas, I can't wait to hear it. I can't wait to hear it on Saturday, but I can't wait for All Out. I want to thank you all for joining us live. Thank you all if you're watching us on demand, and thank you to our all-star panel. Thank you to Maggie. Thank you to Jay News as always, and thank you to the good brother Benno joining us today. Benno, let everybody know where they can follow you on social media and anything else you want to plug. The floor is yours.
Yeah, been doing a podcast a day this week, pretty much on the big
Nice.
week. Got all kinds of previews over on Grapple. Just trying to live up to SP3's reputation and the great example he sets for the rest of us podcasters out there. So yeah, plenty going on. YouTube.com/@Grapple. You can get all of our previews. We've done 3 live shows this week. You can still check out. You still got time before Saturday's shows, and we'll have reviews of everything coming Sunday and Monday. And yeah, after this, I'm gonna go and throw The Wrestler on, and we're doing a retro review of that, the film from 2008, I think it is. It came out. So yeah, got that to look forward to up on our Patreon as well. Patreon.com/Grapple. And everything for me, it's on screen at Benson Richard E. Find me there, and there'll be links to everything I just mentioned.
Thank you, Benno. As always, we can't make it too long before you join us again. We always love having you on here. J News, let everybody know where they can follow you.
You guys can follow me on the Twitter machine at JohnLYFNMG, over on Instagram _JONJY. Also, folks, I'll be back on Sunday afternoon on my regular podcast, the Hit the Ropes podcast with the lovely Dolores at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then if everything goes well, if everything goes right, we'll be doing the review for AEW All Out Sunday afternoon back here on True Heel Heat. So watch out for that. Shouts to Corey Michaels for the follow over on the X. And shouts to everybody in the chat as usual, man, for their participation and the comments and all the love and everything else in between. Thank y'all as usual. And yeah, pleasure to meet you, Benno. First time, man. Good stuff. And SP3, tomorrow should be one hell of a day for professional wrestling.
Gonna be up for 9 straight hours watching pro wrestling. Oh, great me. But yes, like Jay News said, we'll be back together on Sunday. We'll go in live at a special time, 3:05 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be here to review AEW All Out 2025. It'll be myself, Jay News, the True Jaw Josh, Professor Chris of the NWA podcast, your usual suspects talking about AEW All Out, and we got our review on Monday for WWE WrestlePalooza. But we got the flagship podcast tomorrow. Join us live, 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time. Myself, the True Jaw Josh, and Miss Chrissy Love talking about this week in wrestling, including everything that went down from WWE with the final build-up to WrestlePalooza, NXT Homecoming, Andrade's release, as well as everything going on over in AEW. AEW September to Remember, last week's Collision, New Japan, Stardom, and everything in between. So join us live for that, the flagship, tomorrow at 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time. Check out all the great content we got on the channel right now, like AE Ramble 216 from yesterday with me and Jimmy Macaram. Check out our WWE WrestlePalooza 2025 preview with me and Maggie. Check out our WWE AAA Worlds Collide Las Vegas review. That's available for our Patreon backers. That'll be up later today, and it'll be available for members over the weekend. But follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueSB3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at True Heel Heat, and Patreon.com/True Heel Heat. $3 a month. The best place to support us when we are not live here. But thank you so much to J News. Thank you so much to Benno. Thank you so much to Maggie. Thank you to all of you. Like this video, share it, comment down below. Let us know what you're thinking for your predictions for AEW All Out 2025. For Benno, for J News, for Maggie, it is me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3. This has been our AEW All Out 2025 preview. We are signing off until next time.